Hello, superfans, and welcome to Alberta News and Views. The tariff trade war between the United States and Canada is just boiling over today, but luckily, cooler heads prevail. Doug Ford is headed to the United States on Thursday to renegotiate trade. Doug Ford and Donald Trump were messaging and battling each other back and forth all day today. Doug Ford said he's going to cut off electricity to the United States. And President Trump said there's going to be serious repercussions if you do that, namely the auto sector. So I'm going to show you the video with Doug Ford giving his comments on that, on how he is going to the United States on Thursday to renegotiate. Doug Ford also said that if we go into a recession, it's self-made by one person. It's called President Trump's recession. It shouldn't be this way. We should be booming both countries. This is a blatant lie. The Canadian government wants this trade war, and this is one reason. One of the main reasons is they get an easy out by blaming President Trump for all of their failures. The Canadian government lost $1 trillion, close to $1 trillion. It's ridiculous to think that the United States, President Trump, would be causing a recession. We've been in stagflation for years. Canada has been backed by an immigration credit card economy for years. This is well known by the Auditor General and the Parliamentary Budget Officer in Canada. They've stated on record that the Liberal NDP government has been hiding data to make the GDP look better and the economy look better than it actually is. All of their numbers are fudged. It's ridiculous to think that Donald Trump is magically within the last months causing a deep recession. Give me a break. Everybody living in Canada right now knows that we are in a recession. It's brutal. It doesn't pay to work in Canada. It is so bad. Continuing on. So after Doug Ford said he's going to cut off electricity, Donald Trump started messaging today. Says, why would our country allow another country to supply us with electricity, even for a small area? Who made these decisions and why? And can you imagine Canada stooping so low as to use electricity that so affects the life of innocent people as a bargaining chip and threat? They will pay a financial price for this so big that it will be read about in history books for many years to come. I talked about this yesterday as well, and it happened today that you threaten electricity, he will threaten an auto sector. These American companies in Canada will just leave. They will just leave and go on about their way. And this is a lesson learned for Donald Trump, that maybe he'll start supplying the United States with more electricity and figuring out ways so they won't be as dependent. Also from Donald Trump, despite the fact that Canada is charging the USA from 250% to 390% tariffs on many of our farm products, Ontario just announced a 25% surcharge on electricity of all things, and you're not even allowed to do that because our tariffs are reciprocal. We'll just get it all back on April 2nd. Canada is a tariff abuser and always has been, but the United States is not going to be subsidizing Canada any longer. We don't need your cars. We don't need your lumber. We don't need your energy. And very, very soon you will find that out. Make America great again. So after all of this, Doug Ford, well, just watch. Watch this. Here we go.
Well, just a little while ago, I had an opportunity to speak to Secretary Lutnick. And Secretary Lutnick has sent out an olive branch to us to come down and immediately meet with him, meet with the whole trade administration, and discuss the future. Rather than waiting till April the 2nd, threats going back and forth, tit for tat, I've agreed to suspend temporarily, and we always have that tool in our toolkit, until we sit down over the next day or two. I'll be heading down to Washington along with Dominic LeBlanc, and we'll have a good discussion. And with any negotiation that we have, there's a point that both parties are heated and the temperature needs to come down. And I thought this was the right decision. They understand how serious we are about the electricity and the tariffs, and rather than going back and forth and having threats to each other, we have both agreed that cooler heads prevail. We need to sit down and move this forward.
Yeah, I should have did this a while ago. Maybe been there right now with Danielle Smith and Scott Moe of Saskatchewan. Doug Ford doesn't look as confident now as he did before that phone call. You can guarantee that in the United States, they're getting a portfolio together and with some serious numbers on it, and they're going to show Doug Ford exactly what would happen and what's going to happen. And I can't wait to see what Doug Ford has to say after this meeting, because he's going to carry a very, very different tune. Continuing on. So this is a poll right here from Ecos, all right? And it is head from Frank Graves. Frank Graves is notorious and famous for posting ridiculous hate posts, rage farming about Pierre Poilievre and the Conservatives. So he come out with this ridiculous poll showing that the Liberal government is just dominating the Conservatives. It is so accurate and so trustworthy that it has now been deleted. But he knows that Canadians have mass formation psychosis, and stupid little things like this work on them. So he sends it out. Trudeau Media Corp gets a piece of it, so it's all over media right now. So he takes it down, but the message has already been circulated. So now everybody honest in polling has to send out their polling numbers. So Pierre Poilievre, and these are the most accurate ones out now, still has around a 10% lead, not a -1 that the Trudeau Media Corp would have you believe. And I sifted through a pile of them, and they are all pretty much at 10%, the most trusted ones in Canada. Now, what else you need to know is the wording and the trash that is coming out. Poilievre's riding among seats with highest turnout in Liberal leadership race. Poilievre's riding, he might lose his own riding, is what they're actually saying. It is ridiculous to even think that, but it's the messaging that they pump out there to get people talking about it, saying ridiculous things like, it's so bad, Pierre Poilievre might lose his own seat. This is from Kirk Lubomov. This is very, very interesting. He says, can we talk about how Chrystia Freeland, who had one of the most important positions in Canada's government, got only 188 votes in her own riding, the Liberal Party leadership race? This whole leadership race, this whole election cycle, everything right now is fake. There's a very, very good chance this is all rhetoric, propaganda, fakeness. 188 for Chrystia Freeland. And then you're telling me that the Liberal government is skyrocketing in the polls? No. There is a serious campaign going on right now to manipulate Canadians. This is from 338, same thing. Conservatives around 10%, 33%, 39%. The Ecos polling is just absolute garbage. Don't believe any of it. In fact, don't believe any of these polls. Believe what you see yourself, and do some research. Get on Substack and get the good stuff.